Okay, we are live. Welcome. Be sure your microphone is on or off, depending if you don't want them to hear you whisper. So, good afternoon. Special welcome to our new board members. So, Nancy Consemius, it's kind of tradition that we spend, 2 or 3 minutes telling us a little bit about yourselves, favorite color, that kind of thing. No. Well, I learned.
I was ready to listen.
I learned that Nancy has been a nurse for almost 25 years plus. And of course, if you didn't know, she was instrumental in getting the Arts in the Park started this summer again, which was very successful. And she's working on another project. So welcome, Nancy. Other new board member, Jason Bates, Big Daddy's owner, manager, and his son is playing basketball. Right? I said
He said Big Daddy's.
Sorry. Well, shout out to Todd and the food truck. So we welcome both of them to the board, and those are both 3-year terms. So I don't think it's a sentence. It's just if you you can talk to the mirror. But we tend to have a little fun, and it's exciting. The Corn Palace Events and Entertainment is 2 primary goals: the murals and Corn Palace Festival Entertainment, and then I ask for support on all kinds of things and input. So feel free to share ideas. One thing I do want to clarify, and I don't do a very good job of this, is when I send out a group email, but sometimes it's important to know that we're sharing the ideas. Reply just to me, and I don't do blind carbon copy. I just send it out as an email. So when you reply to everybody, it goes to everybody, and it needs to come back to me, and then I can compile that. That way, we don't want to violate open meeting laws. Typically, what we're discussing is not earth-shattering, but we still want to follow the rules and all of that. So if you get a message, just reply to me and share your ideas, and I can kind of compile that. So welcome to Jason and Nancy. And Craig, we are dismissing Tim. It looks like, and Jason, of course. All right, I'll call the meeting to order, and John, we'll let you take over.
Okay, well, I ask for a motion and second on the approval of the minutes.
Aye.
I'll second the motion.
Any changes or?
I have them on the board. I sent them out to you as well. Again, we talked extensively about festival, and I did not schedule Gold Star, but know that he is open to getting on the phone and discussing festival as far as the amusement carnival rides. So the other thing's important. I'll send it again. A few of you just came in. I gave you a homework assignment of some ideas, 250 years of America. So over the next 30 minutes, you've got some time to jot some ideas down if you didn't do your homework, and we'll come back to you. Okay? Otherwise, there's the minutes.
Motion was made and a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the agenda?
Chairman, I have no changes to the agenda as written.
Motion and a second, please?
That's second.
And a second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carried. Box office and concessions updates for Craig.
I don't have a lot as of now. I was kind of waiting for Tim to give his little spiel on what he wanted to bring forward. I'm sure he's on the way. But I am going to be in the need of some more employees. So anybody?
Tim just texted me, I am not going to make it to the meeting today.
Okay, so we'll review the document and discuss. Craig, why don't you tell us a little bit about Saturday? Because that was I've said this last time, it's one of our biggest events of the year. And share a little bit of that information. I thought they might be interested in that.
I know you guys would love to hear numbers, but I had a goal of beating last year's concession number dollar-wise. We surpassed that by over $3,000. So when you're looking at a $10,000 day, that's pretty extreme, I guess. Things went pretty well as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't always mean that it went well for everybody, but kids did a great job. Had enough of them here for that day. We got a big event this weekend. We've got bull riding on Friday and Saturday night. Kind of mad at Dylan for scheduling bull riding on homecoming. So if anybody wants to come make popcorn Friday night, Saturday night it should be good, but Friday night if you're bored and you want to bag popcorn, I'll put you to work.
This is the third year we've done that event, and this is the third weekend. And he's kind of limited now because we've added a banquet into the first weekend that he had. And he was trying to miss both Mitchell's homecoming, and his wife is a teacher in Canton, and miss it so that she can be here. And he hit both of them. So when he booked the event, they don't know what the football schedule is, and that's when they schedule homecoming. So anyway, Saturday, 508 pollers. I did the count. We had 15 states again from Kentucky, so that's a first from Kentucky, and we had Texas this year too. They actually polled for the state of Oklahoma, but they were from Texas, Montana, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, of course, Iowa, Nebraska, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. So, and we counted 4,008 people through the door that day. We've been getting 600 or 700 visitors, so we kind of hit that 3,000 mark. Of course, that counts in and out too, but we had volunteers. It really was quite smooth all day. It went well, and again, it starts at 10:30, and they're done pulling at 4, but they show up at the door at 8. They're ready to get in and get fired up, get a look at the tractors. So I'll move right into those events just very quickly. Again, it was a busy month. Once we get through festival and tourism to festival, and then we have these recurring events. Cheer and dance competition, they moved that up a month. That was good because we have air conditioning here. We got way more teams. I was actually gone that night. Once we got started, I left town, and Craig ran that event, and it went very well. It was a big event for us. The same night, we actually had a rally out on the plaza. We had the First Friday event. We had the Central Electric banquet. 760 people, by the way, come through and eat at that banquet. It's a big event. And then the College Palooza. I think this is the third year maybe we did that. Cornpell
Third year,
supports
yeah.
that with the space and a DJ. Of course, that's Chamber, Mitchell Main Street. And we thought about 300 people were down here for that.
It was great.
And the Shooting Sports Banquet was second year for that. They moved that once it just got too big for their space that they had before. The Community Resources Expo was a new event on the Corn Palace floor. Not a huge crowd, but I think the organizers were happy for being the first time. We had the Wrestling DW Ambush in the plaza. A lot of social media pictures out there. We had the plaza, the Corn Palace Blue, and there was mats from the stage all the way out to the green space to the west and the bleachers, and they had a great time. And they thought it went well. The 437 project was the next day where the riders came through, and then, of course, the National Pedal Pull. All good. Coming up, again, there's no rest here. The Raise 'em Rank bull riding event moves in tomorrow. So we close this parking lot. We put down our mats, bring in all our tables and chairs because we don't get access to our elevator in our basement for storage once they set up their arena. And again, we'll put down our mat. They will put down plywood, plastic, a tarp, wood chips, and then 8 inches of dirt. So it's quite a process. The dirt will come in on Thursday. The other stuff comes tomorrow, and then they kind of finalize things Friday. And that show is at 7 o'clock. Doors open at 5. If we are looking for some scanners, as Craig mentioned, our kids were short that night. We'll take any volunteers we have for scanners at the front door of tickets. We'll have a lot of walk-ins. It's just that's kind of rodeo is that way. What do we have sold right now, Craig, for?
120 for Friday night and 180 for Saturday.
Then he's got 400 VIPs that come in, and they're going to come in like we did for the concert. We're going to bring them in from the plaza, and his family does those. So they do the VIPs, wristband them, and get them to their tables. So we aren't talking a huge group. We'll have 800 to 900 on Friday in the building, and 1,200 to 1,500 on Saturday. So we'll have considerable amount of walk-ins and selling tickets, even though our system's quite quick. It just takes a while. You're talking 2 people at a time walking up and getting tickets, and they go in. So If you were available, we would take you 5 to 7:15, 2 hours on Friday and or Saturday if you're available. And of course, you could stay and watch the show. And it's a great entertainment. It's 2.5 hours of nonstop bull riding. It really is a good show. And then the new event, we'll clean up Monday, and Wednesday we'll start setting up for the volleyball challenge. That's a new thing. We don't do a lot of volleyball here, but we'll be using the armory and the arena floor. And we have 16 teams coming from their all tribal schools. So this is a new event. If you remember, we did the basketball challenge last January, Dakota Hoyeke Challenge basketball. This is the same thing, same group, only volleyball. And if they have their way, they would love to start a cross-country meet here, as Lynn mentioned as well. They're trying to duplicate what they call the Lakota Nation Invitational, which is held out in Rapid City, and they've got these sports, all native teams. So it's a way for them to get into a bigger arena, bigger venue, and enjoy some sport and competition. So we'll be preparing for that. Had to buy some additional, small amount of equipment, some volleyballs, some containers to hold them, things like that. But the goal will be that this will go well and they'll be back for several years. So just a few things we had to invest in to host that, and they're providing most all of the workers for that event. The Flu Pod will be the following Tuesday. Again, that's running 3 to 6. And then the Pheasants Forever Banquet is on the 18th, which if you didn't know, that's the largest Pheasants Forever banquet in the United States and Canada. It's big. There'll be over 700 people there. And they do all the setup. We obviously prepare the arena, tables and chairs, audio system, and run the bars for that. So those are kind of upcoming events. Any questions on past or upcoming events? Okay, let's
Got something on here about arena floor restoration.
Oh, sure. The banquet's on the 18th, and then that following Monday, the 21st, we will have the guy come in and do our floor. So they buff it, take all the abrasions out of it, and then put on multiple coats of wax, and then a finisher hardener. And if you remember, this is a product we went back to about 3 years ago. Just a real quick bit of history. We used to use a product that was, it would wear off by about January. In January, we were having to apply something called Game Time manually. So we were literally mopping the product on every day. Certainly, because we do ball games 5 or 6 days a week. So every day, we're mopping this product on so the floor is not slippery. And a considerable amount of time and expense. The product was expensive, and it took about 45 minutes to do. So we went back to this other product, and we are very happy with it. I mean, we're playing volleyball on this next week, and we haven't done anything to the floor since last November. And we've had all of these events and all this traffic on it, so it really holds up well. But it'll be much, much better when they're done. So, kind of a neat process. It's Stephanie's favorite time of the year. Because you don't want to light a match in the building, to say the least. It's pretty strong. Think of refinishing your furniture in your basement, and that just permeates throughout the house. So, yes, and we're not allowed to let any dirt or turn any air on to circulate dust. So it does get stinky. We put up some signs that say pardon our smell, but
Perfect.
it's all good. The teams, they really like the Corn Palace floor. I mean, we hear that all the time. They're just amazed at how well it holds up. And we're one of the few that don't put the tarp down. And to be honest with you, people ask why not. Hanson, any event they do, they have a kind of like just to think of a tarp that you buy at Menards, the length of the Mitchell Mount Vernon does the same thing. But they really are kind of a tripping hazard, But we could do that. One of the Weston coaches also suggested where he worked, they had 4x4 sheets of carpet squares that they kept, and they put those down, and they stay in place, and then they're easy to pick up. That actually is not a bad idea. That would not be a trip hazard. All of our tables and chairs, summer tourism would be good on those. You'd vacuum and take out some stains, but we probably could skip a year floor finishing. So it's something to think about, you know. I haven't investigated that because I just heard about it a couple weeks ago. But there is a product out there that will really work to cover the floor. So we'll put a vinyl mat down for the rodeo, and I can do for the circus, but for the bull ring. Okay, I thought I had this document on the electronic, and I think I do. But if you want to take a look at this, we'll take a look at it since Tim is not here. I have it saved here. I just gotta... Okay, so, as you know, Tim is out at Mitchell Tech, and I think he was just, you know, we're always trying to improve, you know, what we can do. It's not always perfect, but, you know, we get criticized for some lines sometimes. It's a fine line between having too much staff and sending people home, or, you know, for a 10-minute halftime. You know, we'll frequently pull in 12 to 1,500 people for a ball game, and you have a 10-minute halftime. Well, send 1,500 people to 3 locations, and you're going to have lines. You know, we know that. It's finding that perfect balance, I guess. But these are some thoughts that he had. I would like to comment on a few things. He noticed reducing offerings, you know, high dollar items. You know, you've seen our menu. If you haven't, you know, Craig can explain that. But we've got brats, and we've got our cheddar wursts, and we've got hot dogs and hamburgers and cheeseburgers. We have a chicken sandwich, and we have pizza during the winter. But we have teams that come here and play. For example, Brandon Valley will show up, and they'll play at 4 o'clock. So at 5:15, we have the JV team coming to eat. Then we'll have the freshman team coming to eat, and we'll have the sophomore team come to eat at 7. The only ones we really don't feed are the varsity teams. And we encourage no food in the Corn Palace. We ask people not to bring food in. So we feel it is important to have something of substance, some hot food there, versus nachos and pretzels. So the pizza's a big seller. Our Clover system gives us really good data on what we sell at any particular event, and Craig could certainly cover that. Craig has raised prices just actually in the spring, so we'll be going into our basketball season. Well, Craig, let's go through the soda, for example. What we did with soda and popcorn, and just give an idea, but from spring, yeah, first fall, yeah. So what we did this summer. Well, I thought maybe we'd be going back for winter, but we're going to keep these prices.
Because we love numbers and facts, right?
Yeah, so what do you want to know?
So people like popcorn or sodas, we raised the prices on our popcorn and soda for this summer. So just tell them what those are.
So initially I wanted to eliminate a small soda and only have one size for simplicity. So I kind of raised the small soda to price it out of people's minds type of thing. So small sodas went up, large sodas went up. If I remember correctly, we're at $4.50 and $5. Popcorn, it went up $1 each size, so we're at $3.57 for popcorn sizes. Everything else is pretty much the same. We did a price increase just based on percentages after food costs went up. I just had to raise prices so that we were making adequate dollar amount to keep everything flowing.
So a $7, yeah, we're 3, 5, and 7. Right, popcorn?
Correct.
Yeah. So the theater right now is a $9 popcorn. Give you an idea. So that is a considerable jump. And
Bucket one?
Yeah, the bucket. Yeah, we went away from buckets just due to the recycling and space. So we don't take as much garbage out of the bags as we do the buckets or boxes, and they're a little easier to deal with. So that's something we had changed. But anyway, you know, there's a couple things on here that again we can visit with Tim about privately. But this is a good list to go through. But I will you know comment. Both Craig and I are ServSafe certified. You know, so and I can't remember the last time. We've been 100% on our food inspections the last 4 years. So we feel good about that. As far as training and staff, We have checklists that we do, so every one of our kids, I say kids, some of them are, or most of them are kids, but use the Clover system, no issue. They aren't allowed to do refunds, we have to do that from a manager level, but they're comfortable doing that. They're all comfortable counting the payback, so we have a tape at the end of the night, so that they count back what the sales tape shows and how much money is in the drawer. I'm always amazed. We'll do $6,000 to $7,000 on a Saturday, or almost $11,000 on a Saturday, and we'll be off $6, which to me is pretty incredible. You guys that work in that business, that's really good. That's really good when you're dealing with lots of cash. We're still 75, 80% cash versus credit cards. Believe it or not, I know Tim had known about doing credit cards and having the option, which we do, and we have tap to pay, and we can get more of those. But bottom line is, people are still bringing cash by a large percent.
Do you accept Apple Pay?
We do.
You do? Okay.
Yep, the only thing we don't accept really is American Express credit cards. Yep, and our system's locked down on those. So, anyway, we feel pretty good about it. I don't know if you had any chance to look at it, or if you've got questions or comments. The windows we do, again, we've taken some heat on this in the past. Typically, we think if there's 1,000 people in the building, we need to open up the south side. So obviously on Saturday, we were open with three registers, and that took pressure off. Certainly the lines were very manageable. On the way home from that event, I stopped at Wendy's. I wanted a burger and I shouldn't say that, but a Frosty. And it was 15 minutes. I'm sorry, 15 minutes. I had to pull ahead and just sit there. That was it, 2 things. And I keep saying, you know what, we're doing pretty darn good. No one ever waits 15 minutes at our thing. It might be 5 or 6. But anyway, if you've got comments on that, feel free to share. Reach out to Tim if you want. We'll obviously try to catch him next time, I guess. I don't want to put words in his mouth, or there's things to do, but we think, I don't want to speak for Craig, but I think we feel pretty good about where we're at. We're always trying to improve. The one thing that we notice is our concession area is not a good setup. It was from 2014 at the time. If you go to concessions now, it's all open front. You see the product. We have some of our young ladies, you can't even see them behind the pop machine. You cannot even see them. They have to move to the side, say, to take an order. And so we're pretty limited in space and for our displays. So we get a lot of questions about undecided. The other thing we've noticed a lot of, which slows us down considerably, is young people. Parents won't give them cash. They give them a credit card, a debit card, and they'll come up there and they can't see over the counter, and they take a long time. They're trying to ask questions. So we're talking 6 and 7-year-olds, and it does take a lot of time, and I think that's changed. It used to be that parents would come with the kids and help, help get the things, but we get a lot of really young people coming to buy things, and when it's rush time, they don't make quick decisions. So we're open to suggestions for that. We've got good menu boards. We can change the slides. We have printed menus. Craig has printed large menus, and we've got out by the pillars to say, here's what we've got. So now's the time to make those changes coming up on basketball season. So we're open to suggestions. Okay, let's jump right to mural ideas. So last meeting, I think very appropriately, 2026 theme, 250 Years of America. Now the official United States celebration is America 250. And they have an official logo. If you haven't been to their site, you certainly can do that. I would like you to go around the room. I reached out to Kyle yesterday, or Monday, and he asked about student ideas. He said he shared it. He hadn't gotten any back yet. He's also built into 1 hour, one of our intro design classes for more submissions. I'll be looking forward to both the board ideas as well as seeing what the students come up with. Plans to have designs in October so they can deliberate at the November meeting. So we would like today to give them these ideas, and they would come back with some drawings in November. Okay? So in the perfect world, we have the designs decided before we leave for Christmas break. So that's kind of the timeline, November, December, to finalize those. So I'm going to give you, I'm giving you time, good teacher, saying, do your homework. A list I've started. 250 years of America. I think we need a flag, whether it be a colony flag, the original 13 colonies, that here's our independence and what that flag looked like. I think that would be something. The Constitution, the scroll of the Constitution, which formed our, our governing body of the United States of America with, letters are difficult in corn, so but you can certainly say we the people type thing. The Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know, I didn't research when that was started, but that could be done in a mural. I have, I think the military, I don't know how that fits. War has formed our nation over the years and shaped things with obviously Civil War to World War I, II, Vietnam, Korea. We haven't had the wars on foreign soil, or excuse me, on American soil since the Civil War. So, but military, I think, is be appropriate. I also wrote down baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie. From that, I didn't put Chevrolet in there, but what's Americana, right? Main Street America, the small towns that make up the fabric of our state. So now you can't use any of those, and don't say that's what I was thinking, Steve. I know that's what you were thinking, but I would love to do a little brainstorm and jot your ideas down that you've got. So Jordan's got a list. I can see it. Go ahead.
A couple things I thought of around this area: American Indian experience, civil rights movement, and immigration. I had something with immigration. I'm not sure what we could do, but it's kind of where it all started.
You could do Ellis Island. It's kind of a cool place.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. No, we won't. Yeah, we'll have the Statue of Liberty for 25. Excellent. Thank you.
Ellis Island, melting pot. Yeah.
All I could think of is like, we out of world, everybody holding hands from different cultures, and how much we come from a typewriter to a computer, like technology. How, like with social media, we together, but back then, if you didn't have a phone, you got to call people. Now, you can have access to people anywhere.
So, social technology, social media. Well, again, we'll give these to Wesleyan, and they'll be able to take and run with them a little bit too. I think we looked at our list, we would have, I think technology was actually a theme at some point here. But it seems to me, transportation, I was actually on the board for that one. Maybe we didn't have technology, but, all right, thank you, Gio. So I Wheel the World, basically highlighting cultures, joining hands. It kind of fits into almost an immigration a little bit too, we have the murals above the stage, and I talk about those when I give tours, right? You haven't been in there for a while. On the left, you have the immigrant, right? You have the European coming across the plains, and the Native Americans are wary of them. They're at a distance. You go to the other side of the story, and now they've come together. They're sharing a meal, and there's a white child and a Native child playing with a puppy, so they come together. And then they show the European, Sioux Indian. We've got stick-built homes. We've got teepees. We've got textbooks. We have nature. We have a domesticated beef animal. We have a buffalo. And then you come together with a handshake of obviously different colors. So still pretty timeless. Pretty cool, I think. So,
I have a few of them, actually. The Liberty Bell. Oh, sorry. Is it kind of? The Liberty Bell is one that I thought of. DC monuments and buildings, so like the Capitol Building, White House, Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, things like that. I couldn't remember the name. It's that iconic picture of the Vietnam War where everybody's holding up the flag. That might be a little difficult, but
raising the flag at Iwo Jima.
Yep, yes.
Which
World War II, not
we
Vietnam.
have
Okay.
a Mitchell connection to that.
I do know that actually.
Someone from Mitchell was
Yes.
was one of those men.
Yep. I've heard that story because the grandson
Kevin
was.
Thurman's brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did a recognition for him.
Yeah. Okay,
And then the last one I thought of was the Mayflower.
oh. And again, I keep thinking, we have these huge, 1, 2, and 3 are huge murals, right? They're 20 by 40. And then the number 9 is long, so you can kind of do collages too. You can almost tell a story within those, so that would be good. All right, thanks, Shauna.
Speaking of the collage, I was thinking of that as far as we could do something with, say, 4 different themes, basically. Anthem, flags, bomb bursting in air, that kind of thing. Declaration of Independence, Liberty Bell, and then the Washington on the Potomac scene, something like that, maybe in a, or crossing, yeah, that too, yeah. Anyway, so, and then the other part was the growth of the country from 13 colonies, covered wagons crossing the plains, so on and so forth. And then you have later on the industrial age, the huge growth of the country with that. So there's lots of different areas.
So if I get that, so let's say flags, we could do a colony's flag to the 50 states flag, maybe. Would that be
Yep.
show growth? You're saying covered wagon?
Well, I was thinking of that separately from the collage thing. I was just talking about the initial start of the country with the anthem, the flag bombs bursting in air, and then the Declaration of Independence, Liberty Bell, Washington, that kind of thing, in a collage form, one of the larger
Sure.
murals. And showing growth with the covered wagons.
I should probably explain the attachment that Doug sent out that had a couple songs on it. So there was discussion in here about maybe doing a storyboard sometime, or I think you had a poem. Someone suggested a poem, but there's also a lot of iconic America songs that you could take, like Bombs Bursting in Air,
Right.
phrases from those songs to create that mural representing each different.
Right.
Always put what you used to.
Take that to,
Shining
because well, I'm
From the
thinking of
mountains to
the
the
of the
prairies.
national anthem versus in a mural.
Oh,
Right.
Because I really liked, I don't even thought of it, but a story,
remember.
we looked at maybe for 2027, a story around the Corn Palace. And our local author, Gene, did get back to me and she said, absolutely would like to visit more about that. I think we were kind of focused on America 250, but lyrics of the anthem would be pretty cool.
Cool all around. That'd be dope.
John, you said something about growth from covered wagons to, and what was the other thing you said? Covered, like,
Industrial age,
okay.
like that, you could show.
I would say a Tesla, but there,
That's a-
sounds like Tesla's going through some hard times. They might
I heard that they're catching on fire.
the best representative. Okay. All right.
And I know this one gets a little bit complex when I think about people, but my mind immediately went to the founding fathers and them signing the Declaration. But I don't know, smarter people than I decided that.
Well, and obviously we have, I don't know if Mount Rushmore, it's been a while since I've been to the museum there, but, some of our founding fathers, but obviously Abraham Lincoln's up there and he wasn't a founding father, was the 16th president, but names certainly can be part of the Declaration of Independence. Obviously Ben Franklin is on there, your John Hancock, right, is on there. Some people that I think it's the whole time never did sign it, So a kind of a founding fathers type theme, okay, or mural. Okay, anything else? Steve, did you have? Mayor?
All were great.
Yeah.
Did think Liberty Bell, I don't know if we can do some type of battlefields,
Battlefields.
Freedom Riders, those type of things, That's all I got.
It's all, hey, there's no wrong answers here.
Okay.
It's the best class in the world. There's no wrong answer. Greg, did you have anything came to mind that we want to jot down?
Abraham Lincoln with the Immaculation Proclamation or the Gettysburg Address. As John said, I had Washington crossing the Delaware. Liberty Bell, I did not. That's a great one. I think we need a Betsy Ross flag, which is the 13 colonies. And if you want to combine that with, I mean, there's basically 3 iconic flags. It's Betsy Ross, and then the 48 states, which is during World War I. And then after that, we added Hawaii and Alaska. Another thing you could do is all of the branches of the military.
Which, again, like Mount Rushmore, that's been on here. The military, we've had the logos, but again, I think that's really cool. It's obviously a big part of our history, continues to be. That could be a good collage, though. Kind of think of the Veterans Memorial on First Street, only in corn. Everybody that shows up, they say, oh, there's the Marine Corps, there's the Coast Guard, there's the Navy, the Air Force, the Army. So I always think about the people that come, because we hear this, right? We in the lobby, they talk about Bob Barker, they talk about reading Laura Ingalls books. They said, I remember watching Billy Mills on TV, you know? We hear those stories, so people do notice those things. It's kind of cool. And I think things that move people would be good too. I will combine this list, send it to Kyle, professor over at Wesleyan, and ask them to throw in their own ideas and send us some images that here's what we think it could be. Obviously, he knows the dimensions and the 3 large and 1 long and then the 6 smaller ones. So if there's anything you think of here between today, tomorrow morning, when I send out the minutes and send the notes, feel free to share it. Mayor, you were going to say something, and then
I got one more, too.
I was just gonna say everyone covered everything that I thought of, so great work.
okay.
There's got to be
That was my answer.
eagle somewhere.
You took it for.
There you go.
Oh yeah, so our symbol, the United States symbol, that would be good too. All right, well, I think that's a pretty good list. Just so you know, it won't matter what we put up there. When we did the famous South Dakotans, I get a number of calls or comments, well, why is so-and-so not up there? They should, that's just how it is. Know that the famous South Dakotans have been well received. In fact, Billy Mills called me on Friday, last week, and they were in the state doing some promotional things out west. In fact, the Rapid City TV station had him on, and who wrote about it in the Republic?
Terry Worcester.
Yeah, Terry Worcester. Good story, yeah. He's one who remembers watching Billy Mills. Right. I thought maybe they'd reference him. Anyway, he was going to stop and sign some books. His book is in the bookstore, and then I said, "Oh," I said, "we just took it down." And they go, "Oh no!" And they ended up not stopping. They called me back, actually texted to say, "Hey, we decided to move our flight up." So I felt kind of bad, but we had a really good visit with him. Took lots of pictures. People have enjoyed it, but that's the nature of the medium. They come off, and we put up new ones. He's now becoming the Sydney Opera House. So, I think they probably would have stopped and taken some more pictures, but because it was a beautiful day, and when they were here in the spring, it was kind of cold. So, anyway, it was all good.
I think I'm the only one here that remembers Billy Mills.
Yes.
I was around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not.
I was
I read about them in school books.
15. So,
But it was, if you get a chance, Terry Worcester wrote this story, and it was very moving to the United States people. I mean, he was a big deal, and a rags to riches, so to speak, in his life. But he talked about the man still spreading a message about hope, which is really cool. I mean, if you heard him that day, that was the case. Okay, anything else on that? Otherwise, send it to me. I'll share them. Jump right into staffing, and then we got citizen input. So, a couple things. One is, we all heard of the World of Work program, and I was involved with that when I was in high school 20 plus years ago. And we have taken a student on from World of Work. So they'll be with us in the box office from 8:15 to 11:15 every other day. So her name is Taylor Litke. She started today. We are Thursday, next Monday, and this wasn't her first choice of location. She wanted to be in law enforcement, but there's a limited number. So we're going to give her a business marketing experience, and she'll be good help. And she started today. Second thing is, this was the worst kept secret since last night, but I have turned in my retirement papers for the city, the Corn Palace, and I'm going to be retiring the 18th of October. So,
Of 2026?
coming up. And, I've said this to a number of people. It was no secret. They said, well, how long are you going to do this? I said, well, ideally May is probably the best time to leave the Corn Palace. I came in November, and it was a lot. I'll be very honest with you. I mean, I was an event, I was a teacher. I could handle 24 high schoolers in the classroom, no problem. And event planning at Mitchell Tech and did corporate training for years. And it's like, ooh, this is a lot. There's a lot of moving parts. But after you get kind of take a deep breath and you do it once, it just gets easier and easier. So, that May time frame is going to tours, and you get through all the events, the basketball season. Festivals kind of set up for the most part. So, but next best time is after our fall events, which is right now. So we'll finish we have this big run of pretty technical events. There's a lot of setup, there's a lot of details that I've been involved in, from the last 5 years of doing them, or new, for example. Next week we have this volleyball tournament, we've never run it. So we'll be putting some fires out and saying, oh gosh, that's right, we gotta do that, and we'll take care of those things. Next year when we do it, you have all the notes and it will go smoothly. So I'll stay through the pheasant banquet on the 18th, which is a big setup, and we just need all hands on deck to cover that night. And then I will be done on the 18th. So in the meantime, Craig, all the stuff scheduled. Just an FYI, so all the basketball games are scheduled. The Armory's used 7 days a week in the winter. Those schedules are done. Those kind of take care of themselves because of the athletic directors and the coaches. And it's more of having the facility ready for them and concessions and as far as ticketing and things like that. Our one big event will be a recital in December where we have to switch things around a little bit. But we'll be pretty much basketball, and of course we have about 2 weeks where we don't have an event with floor being down, and then we'll basketball will start. So, so this is a good time as well. So we'll give our staff a little bit of time to take a breath and make a plan, and I'm guessing they will fill the position as quickly as possible. So I've certainly enjoyed my time here. I had someone already call and get some information. They said, it's a dream job. I've always said people come here to have a good time, and we just hope not to screw it up. Everyone's pretty much smiling coming in the door. And unless you're on the losing end of the basketball team, you're smiling on your way out because you saw some entertainment and you get to see your kid or your grandkid or a circus or, all those things. So it's all good, The banquets are fun. It's a high energy. Our kids are fun to be around. Kind of keeps you young. So it's all been good and it's a dream job really. When I was, I'd taken this job because it kind of gone through some turmoil with multiple people, and then when Scott was here, that was a pretty good, steady 3 years. But then, his life changes, and he had moved to Sioux Falls, and so I say, you know what? I've been on the board for 2 terms, I guess 6 years or whatever, and I said, you know what? I think I'd like to do that. So it was a good transition for me because for Mitchell Tech and 30 years in education, not a lot was going to change. I wanted something that, you get fired up when you get a new job and a new challenge. So I enjoyed that, and now I'm gonna. I've got a private business that I run. I'll do more of that, and I will appreciate the evenings and weekends to do things with my family and my grandchildren and things like that. So, but you might be called on to support either interviewing or helping events or whatever the case may be. My suggestion. I made a few things to Craig and Jeff that having a part-time person to do events wouldn't be a bad idea. Because there's a lot of moving parts with scoreboards and cameras and displays and the score system and audio systems. And that's just, every time we have an event here. So having someone that's comfortable with that, because they're in the middle of the quarter and the scoreboard goes out, that's kind of a big deal. So, and those things do happen occasionally. It's just, it can't be helped. So anyway, Corn Palace has been here since 1892 and will be here a lot longer than any of us as well. So not concerned there. It'll be fun to see what comes forward in the future. So with that, I wanted to let you know that. I wanted to thank you for your support, the things we do and your ideas. I'm not a great ideas person. I'm a details person. Make it work. Give me the idea and we can make this work, So I appreciate your support the time that I've been here. So with that, if you don't have any questions, we would move into citizens input. I don't know if we have one citizen. Any questions?
I'm not here to do anything, just cover the meeting.
And
Okay,
that'd be it otherwise.
okay. And a motion and a second to move into his executive session.
That motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Turn off your mics.